Night falls, and from the depths of the abyss come the songs of sirens, calling travelers to their doom. Hello, freaks and freethinkers. This is Radio Ghost Town, and I'm your host, Deep Amber, coming to you from the relative safety of an undisclosed location. Tonight, we continue our ongoing series, The Serpent Whispers, investigating and exposing the greatest conspiracy in the history of the world. But first, a public service announcement on behalf of Radio Ghost Town's unpaid intern, Travis. In our last episode, longtime friend of the show, Crazy Carl, very generously agreed to a face-to-face meeting. Please stop messaging and asking us about said meeting.
Yes, please.
We have either already met up with Crazy Carl or we are going to meet very soon. You are never going to know the exact date of the meeting. You will not be seeing any unedited footage, so stop asking. If you knew when I went to meet him, there are people out there, hello three-letter agencies, who could very easily track where the meeting happened, and that would put Crazy Carl's life in danger. So give it a rest, okay? You'll get all the news fit to print as soon as we're ready and able to share it. Now, with the new year comes new topics for our investigation, so let's take some calls to help us decide what to focus on next. This is Deep Amber, and you're live on Radio Ghost Town. What can I call you?
Howdy, Deep Amber. This is Tex. Did you see that crazy statue over there in New York City?
I assume you're referring to that monstrosity on top of the New York Appellate Division Courthouse?
That's the one.
I'm glad you asked. If you haven't seen it yet, freaks and freethinkers, it's gold. It has massive ram's horns, tentacles in place of arms and feet, and the body of a woman, assuming the artist knows what a woman is. And it's wearing Supreme Court Justice and baby-murdering fiend Ruth Bader Ginsburg's lace collar, because at this point, why not? We'll just ignore the fact they're pretending it's a metaphor and not a specific person or entity. That's just silly. Of course it's real. It's an idol, and it's not RBG, but it is a modern incarnation of the ancient demon she so faithfully served. If I were the good people of New York, I would be worried. The public enshrinement of massive metallic horned deities never ends well. Fun fact, the title given it is Hava, an alternate spelling of Chava, the Hebrew name for Eve, which links directly to Kabbalah and their Gnostic tree of life. In this occult fantasy, the serpent, of course, is the hero of the tale, and the tree of life has two sides, a light and a dark. Both will get you to godhood, but the dark side will get you there a little faster, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And Chava is, of course, the one who started us on our ascent by taking the serpent's offering. Her name carries with it three distinct mystical concepts: birthing new realities into the world, the experience of life, and revelation or manifestation. Strange, isn't it? Keep those in mind while you take a long, hard look at that horned and tentacled visitor from another dimension, and then you tell me just what you think they're planning to birth into our world. It's always good to hear from you, Tex. This is Deep Amber, and you're live on Radio Ghost Town. What can I call you?
Hi, you can call me Lacey. I just wanted to ask you to do an episode about the music industry. I know the really famous stars are all super messed up, and you said there are curses on their songs or whatever, but that doesn't really, make sense to me. I don't know. My friends were talking about going to a concert, and I just didn't know if I could say yes or not.
Well, Lacey, I'm glad you called. I've been researching the music industry lately, so this is perfect timing. Let's take Madonna, for example, since she managed to make her way into the outrage spotlight again with her recent photo shoot published in Vanity Fair celebrating her 2023 tour. If there's one thing the mother of all pop music harlots does better than uncomfortable sexual content, it's blaspheme. So naturally in the photos, she's dressed as a Luciferian parody of Jesus at a quasi-Last Supper with half-naked androgynous persons crawling all over the table looking drugged out of their gourds. This is nothing new. She has performed more than once while hanging on a cross, and she's not the only one. Profaning Christian imagery and blaspheming the sacrificial act of perfect love, which single-handedly rescued us from the power of death and hell, is evidently open season for the music industry as a whole. One expects this sort of thing from metal bands, the likes of Marilyn Manson, and perhaps it's not entirely surprising in the rap and hip-hop scene, but just off the top of my head, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, and Demi Lovato have all taken a stab at it as well. Strange, isn't it? In yet another photo in the same article, Madonna, who, by the way, looks like she's being held together by masking tape and mortician's wax, is dressed in baby body parts. One assumes the heads, eyes, and limbs she wears in public, at least, are plastic replicas, but if there could be any rational excuse for wearing them at all, it vanishes when you consider the recent allegations linking her to the wholesale abuse of third world children her charity is supposed to help. And yet, desecrating babies' bodies is also an old and time-honored tradition in the modern music industry, dating all the way back to the Beatles' Yesterday and Today album cover. It has links to that abortion deity on the New York courthouse, too, when you think about it. But returning to Madonna, hopefully for the last time, here we have a woman who at best is in need of intense therapy, and more realistically, in need of a prolonged deliverance service by an old-time gospel minister. In a healthy, functioning society, a woman like this would get the help she needs. She would not get attention, accolades, and a platform for which to teach her soul-crippling perversion to the masses. Considering her history of child exploitation, which dates back over 30 years, is it any wonder her fans have grown up to use terms like minor attracted persons to justify abuse and openly attempt to rebrand it as normal and acceptable? The Serpent has been using meat puppets like pop stars and rock and roll royalty for decades to manipulate our collective unconscious, if you'll pardon my use of the term. While we weighed the souls of our children against going to a concert with friends and decided a night on the town was probably the more important of the two. I promise a music industry episode is forthcoming, Lacey, and I hope this gives you something to think about in the meantime. Thanks for calling. There is one thing Lacey mentioned I'd like to cover briefly, and that's the idea of curses being attached to popular music. Now, there are two types of curses. There is a curse, the kind occultists send and think they control. Then there's the curse, which operates everywhere God's hand of protection is not active. Understand this. In a very real sense, every person on the planet who does not belong to the God of the Bible is cursed. Think of the fallen world as the zombie apocalypse, and they are living by choice outside the safe zone of faith in Jesus Christ, where they get gnawed on day and night by shambling corpses. Now, we Christians live inside the safe zone. The curse has no power over us as long as we stay where we belong, but from time to time, we unwittingly, or even, God forgive us, on purpose, step outside of the boundaries of the safe zone, out from under God's protective hand, at which point we find ourselves surrounded and neck deep in drooling hordes who want to pick their teeth with our clavicles. It's no one's fault but our own. The boundaries are clearly marked. All we have to do is stay inside them. Blasphemy and idolatry are listed in Deuteronomy with other sins through which we exit the safe zone and enter the curse. It is explained to us clearly, in black and white, that these are the lines over which we must not cross, lest we willingly step out from under God's protective hand and into the zombie-infested lands of the fallen. Honestly, I'm not sure why this is so hard for the average churchgoer to understand. By giving money, attention, and worship to stars who engage in high-level ceremonial blasphemy, we are taking part in their sin. Now, as for the concept of a curse being attached to specific songs or albums, that's a real thing too. Machine Gun Kelly comes to mind, lest we forget he and his girlfriend, assuming they're still together, one never knows with these people, drink each other's blood for ceremonial purposes. It would be ridiculous to think that people who engage on that level of ritual in their private lives do any less in their professional. Any music he or this like him releases has been cursed or blessed by the occult, and it doesn't matter which one because there is no difference between the two. Occultist work with fallen angels, demons, and unclean spirits. And these entities are incapable, literally incapable of blessing anything. Everything they touch eventually turns to feces, and the devil don't take care of his own. Next caller. You're live on Radio Ghost Town. What can I call you?
Hi, Deep Amber. It's me, Alice.
Well, hello, Alice.
No, Alice. Well, I was wondering if you saw the new Avatar movie. It's just so full of godly elements, like family and the need to respect and value God's creation. I think it's something we can both agree on.
No.
What? No?
No, but it was clever the way you worked God in there, Alice, even though you know that both of us hold mutually exclusive definitions of the word.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sure you do. You and the Shamalama Ding Dong folks.
I've told you before, the Shalbatana Alliance.
Sure. You don't believe that Jesus is who the Bible says he is. Your God is some amorphous jelly of universal mumbo-jumbo.
God is the light of knowledge that binds the universe together in the harmony of pure souls.
Again, no, he's not. And you know I think you're full of hooey, but you still chose to use the word God in hopes that I'd accept the term at face value. Like I said, nice try. We do not have enough time for me to rant about the Avatar movies, but if a more godless, transhumanist, brainwashing, pagan universe has been created, then it hasn't hit the big screen yet. So that's a rant for another time. Meanwhile, learn a lesson from Alice, okay, freaks and freethinkers. Just because someone throws around terms like God and Jesus, even if they use them respectfully and in churchy social media posts, it does not mean that person is a Christian, let alone a Bible believer, or that they're even talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The serpent is coming at you both ways, in flagrant, open, ceremonial blasphemy of the music industry, and in subtle, seductive whispers of an inclusive, progressive, modern vision of God and Jesus Christ. Do yourself and your soul a favor and always look for the lie. There is a massive psyop going on, and if we swallow their deception like Eve at the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we lose. Like it or not, freaks and freethinkers, we are the last remaining hope for civilization. We are the speakers of truth. We are that which withholds while we remain. We do not participate in their rituals. We do not parrot the lies. We do not trust the system. We do not drink the Kool-Aid. There is no spoon. It's a cookbook. Soil and Greens people, we will not comply. Hold the line. If we fall, we fail. Then nothing remains but a certain fearful looking for judgment which shall devour those who put themselves in opposition to God. We must redeem what little time remains. Now, for the record. Satan is alive and active in the world today. He is your mortal enemy with just one goal, to destroy you, body and soul. But the good news is we have a champion. His name is Jesus. Jesus is the only way to God, and the Bible is our only source for absolute truth. Together, they're our only hope for salvation. I'm Deep Amber, and this is Radio Ghost Town.
We are living in perilous times, but God is a shield for those who trust in him. So do not be moved by fear, but rather by faith in God and his word. At Fly By Light Media, we choose freedom over comfort and truth over popularity. We hope you will too.
And you can buy these cool new Radio Ghost Town tees and mugs through the link in the description. And be sure to watch more videos. Together, we are Fly By Light Media, and we rise to shine.